If you're currently managing your blood pressure or your blood sugar, this video would help you. I just finished recording a video for things that you can look out for in an ingredient label or in a food product, and it touched my heart to just do the same thing for people specifically trying to manage their blood pressure, because I feel like, you know, it's not enough to say you're buying things that are healthy, but are you actually being mindful of the products you buy? So this video would guide you through what you need to look out for when shopping for yourself in order to improve, and especially when you're trying to improve your if you're trying to lower your blood pressure, you're trying to lower your blood sugar levels, or you're trying to heal or get off medications, this would be very helpful for you. So the first thing you need to look out for is carbohydrates, right? And when I say carbohydrate, not just so, because I know if you're managing blood sugar, you just look out for the sugar, the grams of sugar, but look out for carbohydrates. I would say look for products with low to moderate levels of carbohydrates, and prioritize products that have high fiber. So instead of buying white bread, look for bread with whole grains like nuts, like seeds. I would put the one that I always recommend for my clients who are managing their blood sugar or blood pressure here on the screen. I know I usually recommend the sprouted whole grain bread. That one is full with nuts and seeds, and it has fiber. So instead of consuming white bread or whole wheat bread, some people tell me, oh, they were being recommended whole wheat bread. I do not recommend whole wheat bread to clients because it is also still heavy in carbohydrate. But sprouted bread, and if you will do bread, you can also do sourdough, right? Because sourdough bread, because that is fermented and it has good gut bacteria. Okay, the next thing you want to look out for is added sugar. At this point, we need to keep our added sugar to zero. Even products that say sugar free, zero sugar, or no sugar, still check, because sometimes they sweeten this product with artificial sugars, which is as bad as the sugar itself. So avoid artificial sugars, avoid any food product with any gram of added sugar. At this point, we want to keep our added sugar in products to zero, so you can only make do with foods or with natural sugars. And even with foods with natural sugars, you also want to be careful of those fruits or vegetables that spike your blood sugar. So things like banana, watermelon, they can spike. Mangoes, pineapple, they are good, but they can spike your blood sugar, especially when you're still at the early stage of management. I begin to add all of these other sweet fruits at a later time or as treats, but at the early stage, you want to stick towards fruits, vegetables, and food that balances your blood sugar. I hope that makes sense. And the next thing is fiber. Look for foods. I already mentioned that when I talked about carbohydrates, but most food products, especially like things like bread, pastas, look out for food with high level of fiber, right? High level of fiber, because they can help slow down your glucose absorption, and of course also help your heart health. So at least 3 grams of fiber per serving, it's okay, especially for foods that contain carbohydrates. The next one that is very critical is sodium. If you're managing blood pressure, if you're managing blood sugar, please keep your sodium to at least 140 milligrams per serving. So it means that already, if you're managing blood sugars, you don't have any business using seasoning cubes, because most of a serving of seasoning cube can contain as much as 1,000. I would check for one of the seasoning cubes and put the milligram content on the screen. So some of them can contain very high levels of sodium. Honestly, I do not have any blood pressure issues, but I already trained myself to cook without seasoning cubes. At first, it might feel weird, but when you learn to work around it, when you learn to use more of herbs and spices, it will improve your health. You will become used to it. Sometimes I start with my salt. I use the Redmond salt. You can also use this one from Costco, or the pink Himalayan salt. That's much better, but avoid iodine salt. These are the three better ones: the Himalayan, the Redmond, Celtic sea salt. Or you can use this one from Costco. I am forgetting the name, but it's a very good brand from Costco. That's a good one. So you want to just cook with your salt, your herbs, and your spices. I promise you, if you cook with just salt and spices, your food will still taste as good. You do not need any seasoning cubes, especially if you're managing blood pressure or blood sugar. Okay, the next thing you want to look out for is healthy fat. You need fat because we are staying away from carbohydrate. We want to use fat as our source of energy. I try this all the time and it works for me. Whenever I feel hungry, especially if I am on an intermittent fast, I bite on a very small slice of grass-fed butter, and immediately I just get my energy back. My tummy feels full. That's because you can use fat as a source of energy instead of carbohydrates. Okay, the next thing also is you have to look at your ingredient list. The next thing you can do now is to get carried away and say, oh, it's zero sugar, it's sugar free, it's gluten free, and then it is filled with junk that is still as bad as whatever you are trying to avoid. Okay, so look at your ingredient list. Ideally, at this point, you need, in fact, in my previous video, I put a challenge for the viewers to tell them to get on a whole food challenge, on a single ingredient food challenge. So for example, instead of snacking on chips, instead of snacking on cookies, instead of snacking on crackers, that crackers you see there can contain, depending on the product you're buying, depending on the brand, it can contain as much as 15 to 20 ingredients. So rather than snacking on a cracker, a cookie or something, snack on apples, add almond butter to it, snack on carrots, snack on cucumbers, and maybe some nuts and seeds to it, snack on walnuts, Brazil nuts, pumpkin seeds. Make yourself a homemade bar using nuts and seeds. So if you combine things like walnut, Brazil nut, pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds, cashew, you can make yourself flax seeds. You can make yourself a nice high protein, blood sugar balancing bar. It doesn't have to be beautiful. It just has to be edible and made with clean ingredients. So snack on whole ingredient foods. Okay, and so that I was saying that to say that one of the things you need to look out for if you're managing blood sugar is look at your ingredient list. Make sure your food is made with very minimal ingredients, and this should be ingredients that you can identify. You can almost see your kitchen, but when it starts sounding like it's medication, you're seeing dyes, you're seeing artificial flavors, you're seeing natural flavors, you're seeing different kinds of gums, run away. Yes, run away. Look for things with simple and helpful ingredient. The next thing you need to check for is the portion size. So if you see a product having 500 milligrams of sodium, it is per serving. So if that product has 10 servings you are consuming, by the time you are done, if you finish that product in a day, you have consumed over 5,000 milligrams of sodium if it's 500 per serving. So look at the portion size and make sure you are not going above your daily limit for whatever the ingredients are, okay, for whatever the nutrition facts are. So I hope this was helpful. And if you are trying to balance blood sugar, you're trying to balance your blood pressure level, and you need extra support, I have two things that can help you. The first one is a grocery and lifestyle change guide. This product shows you everything you need to buy in the grocery store that is the best possible option. So if you're in the United States here, I did this across Costco, Walmart, Kroger, Trader's Joe, and I think Sprouts and Whole Foods. So most of these products are, so for example, if you're looking for plant-based milk, you just need to click on it. It will take you to the page where I have the best possible plant-based milk, and so it takes away the guess, it takes away the overwhelm. You don't need to stand in the grocery store and you're like, is this healthy, is this not healthy? I already did all of that research for you. You just need to grab, put in your cart, and that's it. So if you're standing and you want to get a treat for yourself, go to chocolates. There are lots of good options that you can still have and enjoy without being bothered about your health. If you're looking for the yogurt, just click on yogurt. It takes you to where I have yogurts, and there are lots of great options across all the stores you would visit here in the United States. But if you need a more in-depth support, I recently have launched my holistic lifestyle change program. This is where for 4 weeks I sit down with you. We look at your supplements, we evaluate your nutrition, we evaluate your environment, because toxins can also hinder your healing. So, and we come up with a realistic meal plan that you can implement, and depending on what your situation is, we can either do a detox, a liver detox, or a gut reset, depending on what your situation is. So if your medications, I have helped clients who have had thyroid issues, hormonal issues, inflammation, chronic pain, cancer. And if you have cancer or you're healing from cancer, your chemotherapy and radiation are good treatment plans, but you also need to heal from the inside, and that can come from a lifestyle change. So I hope this was helpful. Please subscribe to my channel now. The analytics is telling me that most of you that watch this video just watch and go. It is not nice. Please go ahead and subscribe. Share this video with someone you know that is battling with a health issue or with a health condition. Or if you know someone who has a blood pressure and they've been complaining, this can be a gift you can give to them to say, hey, you're managing your blood pressure or you're managing your blood sugar, you want to get off medications, be mindful of these things at the grocery store, and I tell you, they will be grateful for you, because this video is packed with lots of value and educative content. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video.